Lock both and then do a head throw. Alright, run through it quick this time. Alright. Next will be a face punch. You gotta block it and then simulate breaking the neck. Next, Billy will attack with a side kick. Got the block, kick is growing. Alright. Next, Billy will simulate a jab and a punch. Got a block both, stomach punch, face punch, showdown. Straight out, gotta break the wrist, stomach, and then straight up the face. Alright. Next would be knife to throat. This technique would be knife to throat. Gotta hit the arm, the shoulder, face to the head, roundhouse kick, and then a strike to the face. Next, upward jab with knife. Got the block, and then do a wrist throw. Okay, next we have a demonstration of the hand form by Gerald Yang and Patty Post. They will perform the Chung outside. Attention, go. Next we have Gail Westenberg, Gerald Yanes, and Gwen Tony performing parody number 7.
Chung, you are how old are you? 13 years old. He is my next lead. He been training, I think about 8 years. Also, he is second degree black belt. He's trying to demonstrate with the form with the stick. Okay? Tony, second degree black belt, is trying to perform warrior Chung. Which they cannot practice through the free spot. So form is really important part of Tae Kwon Do. Therefore, whoever going to learn martial arts, they must understand all the form, such as rhythm, speed, concentrations, also breathing control through the form. Therefore, the form is a really important matter to be good martial artist. Chung demonstrate the advanced form, never form for sitting. Demonstrate all the basic movement, the baseball form, advanced form, the form is weapon. And also we did demonstrate self-defense already. So I would like to demonstrate for one of my students for free sparring. The free sparring means the track is free of movement. They are not moved as a pattern, more like a sparring. Okay? Going. practice for demonstration. So they came to me, they try not to do it because they don't like to embarrass themselves like that. I usually make them demonstration. If they are not ready, they should embarrass themselves to get more incentive for training more harder for following promotion time. But this time, many of Blackbird got he missed too much because of working overtime. Someone got us through. Really unfortunate situation right here. So, but the few of my Blackbirds still really dedicate for training all the juniors. And once a week, every Tuesday evening, 30 minutes training for demonstration. Also, a few of my advanced students try and practice every day for prepare for our demonstration. So I would like to introduce who did dedicate the past 3 months, Mr. Straw. Straw. And these two gentlemen spent lots of times for the juniors, also practice trying to organize all the demonstrations. Okay? We like to give to them big hand. We like to demonstrate the breaking technique. The breaking technique, many people misunderstand about breaking technique. The reason we're going to have a breaking technique, we're trying to improve their accuracy of each technique that they're using. So since we are controlling all the techniques, that's the only way we can prove our power into punching, kicks, and tops through the breaking technique. So that's the only way we can really try to put a power in it. So that's the only way we will demonstrate for breaking technique. Not like how tough we are, but not like that. Anybody can break in that material if you train for it. As long as you know how to concentrate to get your maximum power, I'm sure anybody can break. But need lots of time for training for it, also lots of concentration involved. So try not to get overexcited about breaking certain things. That's not the purpose of our demonstration. Okay, we're breaking both left, try not to mess up my goal. Put it on the mat, go down. Turn. bonus. Somebody hold them up, raise them up after that. Cut, then you're done.
내가 오늘 미칠 수
가지고 무슨 거 어떻게 허브질 거 어때? 이렇게부터 되는 거야. Okay, everybody ready? Hold it tight. Two person hold it on the top. You guys gotta fight the hold. See, the bottom too. No. Then you hold it with, yeah. Right. Then down. Right. 네가 먼저. 내가 이거 꼭 만들어. 코로 빼내면 되나?
You guys,
Hey, move up there. Way back.
you guys, all against the everybody. Stay away from the camera. You, come here. Off the platform, please. Hey, over there. Off of it, completely, what I say. Leave it alone.
이거 처음 보여야지. 저쪽은 되죠. 이거 대목을 해. take a start with it. You hold this one. Why don't you bring that piece of the rod in your hand? Not that much. Hey, kids, move out, you kids. Okay? Stay there, kids. Anyone wants to? Hey. Shut up. Okay. Hold your shoulder. Okay, take this. Take that. Changing your hand. That's your wish. Back there. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sure. 그러면 이제 손끝까지 이쪽을 당겨서 들어가면 그럼 내가 팔 대고 쓰레기하고 Hey, move this one. Okay, move this one. And then this mat, fold it up. Go back over, shake it up, bring it back over. field guy, not shooting guy. Now you can understand why all you can handle the water is too much rest. 1. Okay. Then 2 here. He will drop his arms, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Okay. From here, 1, lock it, hit it, throw. Or, same way, 1, 2, throw. Okay, so now this side, now front. From here, 1, knock it up, or 7 grab arms, turn, hit it, around, knock. He has to go as long as he likes to say with the twist. Not because he's willing to do it, but he's willing to do it anyway, because of pain. Whatever. From here, 1, 2. Many different ways to protect yourself. You can from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On 60 Minutes.
Now, a new definition of quality.
Not only volunteer to attend, you pay to learn, in considerable discomfort, military tactics, guerrilla warfare, survival techniques, and the fastest way to kill an enemy. What is it in the climate today that makes these camps flourish? Frustration with our military record and the lack.
Ronald Anderson, Matthew Byrd, Stephen Reed, Robert Wagner, Luke Boston, John Kane, Nathaniel Churton, my English for this month. This all student I will select, and at the end of this year, we will prepare some kind of award. Okay, so all the students, be more aggressive, more enthusiasm. Discipline yourself, change your attitude, trying to be select, student of the month among our selected staff. Thank you.
Let's go to work, buddy. Let's go to work.
Did you get a picture of the student of the month?
Yeah. Stand like on the yeah, just put your feet up on the thing. No, you don't. He will give it out of your foot.
Snake told me to do it. I give Snake a good picture in about 2 weeks.
Okay, you may go.
You know what? I think I missed that. Sure.
There's those Snoopy over there.
Mr. Chung says check me. Behave yourself. Control yourself.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Enjoying your parachute.
Take this. Yeah, we gotta move out while we
Everybody,
right here.
concentrate. We are our test.
Go ahead and put the side of
Number junior who are test over. If your mom and your daddy have to go, test to go, you may leave. Other than that, you can stay here, watch or rest on test. Right order. Down. Papers to the judge. Attention. Chung. Basic form number 1. All the way through.
Todd Shell out there to knock him down.
You know, talking about congratulations, I think we ought to congratulate Miami Dolphins, too, because
Absolutely.
they're going to be right out here with those 49ers in a couple of weeks.
They'll test that defense a little bit. Pretty tough to pitch a shutout against them. Handoff to Walter Payton. Payton hammers down inside the 35. Todd Shell again on the stop. First down, Bears, 13 yards for Walter. And it's 25 seconds left to play. Timeout. Bears gives us a chance to say thank you. Sincerely, thank you. That's not the way to put a point up there at this time?
I don't know.
You can keep up with it, or you're going to be left behind. That's why I joined the Army.
From microchip circuitry to laser technology, the world's largest school for high-tech skills is the Army.
Bravo, go active. Bravo, lock.
Provide service and support along with our computers so that the people who use them will always be able to perform to their fullest potential. Wang, we put people in front of computers.
Form that follows function. Optimal thrust, intelligence, elegance. Every inch, every edge, engineered to perfection. The shape of things to come has come. The Audi 5000S, sedan, wagon, turbo. Audi, the art of engineering.
It is a wild scene, as you would expect, at Candlestick Park. The 49ers have shut out the Bears 23-0. The Bear defense, I guess you'd have to say, John, just had to stay on the field too long.
It was too long, and then they finally get worn down, and the defense can only do so much. You need something from your offense, and it's really a tribute to this 49er defense. They really shut them out all day in all areas.
49er defense had 9 sacks. As you look at the crowd scene, I hate to call it a mob, but that's what it is, as they start to rip up the turf and take off their souvenirs and get them home. You like dirt? You can have some.
That's right. Just take it home with you. That'll be a reminder of this 1984 San Francisco 49er team.
Well, the 49ers, with the best record in pro football, didn't let anybody down. We'll be back with more from the locker rooms and from the champions in a minute.
Bill, you used a dandruff shampoo on Tuesday?
And my dandruff's back on Thursday.
Well, maybe what you've got isn't ordinary dandruff.
Ask your doctor. Flaking and itching could be signs of eczema, seborrhea, or psoriasis. Try Tegrin medicated shampoo. It penetrates to the scalp to loosen and wash away flakes. Medicates the scalp to help control flaking and itching with regular use. Tegrin medicated shampoo in original or herbal.
The essence of hitting. George Brett.
Some guys say it's the rhythm, reading the pitch. For me, it's a feeling that says I'm going downtown.
The essence of shaving.
This is Atra by Gillette. It pivots so the twin blades stay on your beard longer. But what Atra is all about is the feeling that says you just got Gillette's best shave.
Gillette, the essence of shaving.
Introducing Gillette Foamy Gel. The gel that gives you more than any other gel. More lubricants. Better beard setup. More lubricants. Smooth takeoff. More lubricants. For the closeness and comfort you want in a shave, get Gillette Foamy Gel, the gel that gives you more.
Next here on CBS, of course, 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast, where we'll be seen at its regularly scheduled time. And with me, one of the men of the hour of that great defensive unit, Dwayne Board of the San Francisco 49ers. And Dwayne, was there a feeling in the build-up for this game that you guys were so overlooked in all the talk about Chicago?
Yeah, you know, we knew that, it seems like our defense were the underdogs, and everybody was talking about the Chicago defense. And today, we went out to prove to everybody in the world that, the San Francisco has a defense too. And, it's great to shut the team out, down the stretch in the playoffs. But, you know, you got to give it to our offense. They went against the best and did that job.
All right, Dwayne, congratulations. And, of course, speaking of the offense, here is the quarterback, Joe Montana. Joe, it was kind of tough for you in the first half of that game.
Well, yeah, they're a very tough defense, and they've given a lot of people problems. I had a couple problems that really cost us early in the game, but finally we settled down and just went and took it to them as much as we could, and they're a very physical team, very good.
Joe, what do you think the key was for the 49ers to win this game?
I think we handled what we call the 20-flop defense as good as anyone has handled it. They're a good team, but they stopped us on occasion, but we just kept plugging, and our defense probably as I see it, the best defense on the field today.
All right, Joe, and of course here you are on the roll, and as Pat Summerall said, no one in the league can throw better on the move than number 16, and there is that pass to Freddie Solomon.
Freddie was going to run it out, and the guy sat outside of him, so he hooked inside and then slid out. It was a good adjustment by Freddie and great protection as I had all day.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Congratulations. And, of course, the 49ers are now looking forward to the Super Bowl, and the architect of their triumph is Bill Walsh. And, Bill, you even had some veer plays. You didn't even block on some of the defensive ends when you hit Wendell Tyler on that play to the right side. That was one of the big plays you had in the first half.
Well, it was a great play for us, and it was about the only thing we could find to move against that defense. But I really gratified the fact that we dealt with that defense effectively, and we'd heard for some time that we couldn't.
All right, at the other end of the line now, down in Coral Gables, is the man you're about to match up with, Coach Don Shula. And, Don, we want to send along our congratulations on what you did with the Dolphins today against Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
That was a great game, Don. We saw part of it. That offense is unbelievable.
Well, we're looking forward to being out there. The two best teams, after all this time, Bill, the two best teams with the two best records are going to go after each other.
That's how it should be.
That's right.
Be looking forward to seeing you.
Let me ask both of you this. Who's going to be favored? Will it be Shula or will it be Walsh?
Well, I've got to think 45 points. It's got to be favored for somebody.
Yeah, but it's in Bill's backyard. I know exactly how far he has to go for practice. And then Stanford, he used to coach at Stanford, and of course he knows the ins and outs of that stadium.
Of course, you have those Burger Kings in the San Jose area. You're out here more than I am.
Tell me about Mark Clayton, Don. He got nicked a bit in the game. Is he going to be all right? And how did you come out of it physically against the Steelers?
Mark Clayton hurt his shoulder. He's going to have an arthrogram, and we'll know a lot more tomorrow morning. We're hoping that he's going to be okay. Aside from that, I think physically we got out in pretty good shape.
All right. Congratulations again, Coach Shula, and we look forward to seeing you at the Super Bowl. And again, Bill,
thank you.
Marvelous job with the 49ers. You go back for the second time, too.
We're looking forward to it.
Now, there's a man on the losing effort who brought the Chicago Bears into this championship game. He's standing by with Irv Cross, so let's go to Irv in the Bear locker room.
Brent, of course, a series of questions everybody has in their minds, I guess, on Mike. He came in here with a highly vaunted defense, the best running game in football, and the 49ers just simply shut it down. Your assessment?
Yeah, I just would like to commend the 49ers organization, their coaching staff, and the players. They beat us. They took it to us and beat us. We have no excuses. We knew we were playing a fine football team, and they proved that they were a much better football team than we were today. I take a lot of the blame because I really think that, we got away from things we wanted to do too early, but they're an excellent football team, and I wish Bill and his team all the success in the world. We got a lesson today.
Where do you take this football team from here? Do you kind of start all over and rebuild, or do you think this is a building step?
No, we're okay. In football, either you teach or you learn. We learn today, and, it'll be valuable to us in the future. We'll be a better football team next year. We just got to go to work on some basic things that we didn't do very well this year, and we're going to throw the ball a little bit better. That's all. Protect, and that should help us.
Mike, the football team, of course, learned in this ballgame. I guess you learned something, too, as a head coach, being in a championship game for the very first time, going against a guy like Bill Walsh.
Well, I think Bill did a great job. As I said, they came out attacking, and they attacked, and that's what football is all about. It's a war, and if you attack the other guy and keep him off balance enough, you usually make something good happen, and that's what they did today. And I just have to give them all the credit in the world, but we will be back. Believe me, we will be back.
Thanks for being with us, Mike. Brent.
All right, Irv, thank you very much. We'll continue from the San Francisco 49er dressing room in just a moment.
If anyone can tell you how many cities United flies to, I can. 151. Because every morning, flight after flight lifts off with a load of my sweet rolls. 747s, 767s, DC-10s, New York to LA, Miami to Seattle. So many flights to so many cities with so many of my sweet rolls. So next time you're in the friendly skies and someone says,
my compliments to the sweet roll man,
you'll know who they're talking about.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
I'm 32 years old, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults are coming forward to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid's cereal.
I know there's a tiger in the box. I like the taste, okay?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
One day, our neighbor saw the package on the table.
And we don't even have children.
With that extra crunch and milk, that frosting just right, that taste is great as ever.
Well, they've always been my favorite, so dig in. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
Philadelphia brand cream cheese is so rich, so creamy, so heavenly sinful, so... I never ate too much. I didn't want to misbehave. Then I found out Philly has only half the calories of butter or margarine. Half the calories! Always has. So now I'll have a little on my muffin on Sunday, my toast on Tuesday, Highway Safety Day, Baltic Pride Week.
Philly cream cheese, half the calories of butter or margarine. You ain't misbehaving.
When it's humid, a lunar eclipse, Suffocare month.
Introducing a computer that can change the way you work. The new Tandy 1000, complete with desk-mate software for easy-to-use word processing, filing, worksheets, scheduling, communication. Brought to you by Tandy, clearly superior for service, support, and software. The Tandy 1000, available at Radio Shack computer centers and so affordable. Tandy technology, service, and support are clearly superior.
Last year in Soldier Field, the Bears stuffed the 49ers 13-3. The GOAT of that game was this man, Wendell Tyler, who really had a big day, and I think you gained a measure of revenge. Wendell, nice game.
Yes, I did. I had planned to have a good day. My offensive line, they blocked well, and we were able to run the ball.
And here it is, the touchdown play for you.
It was a 14 trap, and I got a block from Guy McIntosh, and I just bounced off a couple people and went on to the end zone.
All right, Wendell, congratulations. Now you finally get to go to the Super Bowl with the 49ers, and how happy you have to have been traded here.
It took me all the time to get to the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl, and I just say, praise the Lord.
All right, fine. Now, Terry Bradshaw is standing by live. He is down at Don Shula's home in Coral Gables. And, Terry, you watched the Dolphins today. What do you think about the Super Bowl matchup?
Well, it's going to be kind of an interesting one. I'm very fortunate to be able to say who I think is going to win. When you look at the two teams, Brent, I give the edge in defense to the 49ers, edge in offense to the Miami Dolphins. Two-dimensional offense, and the 49ers is that they can run and throw. And then with Coach Shula's, you have the big gun, Danny Marino. But unlike baseball, where pitching will offset power hitting, I kind of like the Dolphins. I think they're big play offense. The only way you're going to beat them is you're going to have to outscore them. And very few teams have been able to do that. Dolphins.
Sitting down there in Don Shula's living room, I would expect nothing else, right? All right, now, Jimmy, let's get somebody in here who's going to tell us, on Greek, who is going to be favored in this game, the 49ers or the Dolphins?
Brent, it's two great teams, two great coaches, but let's not forget that the 49ers are at home. They've been here 7 consecutive weeks now by Super Bowl time. We have to give them the edge by a field goal.
All right, so San Francisco is expected to go into that Super Bowl confrontation a 3-point favorite in that game, and we'll see. It'll be played in 2 weeks, just 25 miles down the road in Palo Alto at Stanford Stadium. I'm Brent Musburger, and on behalf of all of us at CBS Sports, we certainly hope you've enjoyed the NFC Championship as the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. They'll take on the Miami Dolphins. So long, everybody.
United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody knows Hawaii like United. Let the friendly skies bring Hawaii alive.
If you want to know more about the game of football, the Library of Congress suggests these books. The Armchair Quarterback, edited by John Thorne. Paper Lion by George Plimpton. And Vince Lombardi on Football, edited by George L. Flynn. These and many other interesting books are waiting for you in your local library and bookstore. Visit them. They'll be happy to help you read more about it.
This is CBS.
Make your money do what you want it to. It's your choice. So make your first choice first for performance.
You will find First National Bank people out there, helping Dayton grow and prosper, helping Dayton enjoy, expand, innovate. In fact, no matter what Dayton's changing scene is, First National's right in the middle of it.
First National
We're called Precision Tune for a very good reason. Every time we tune your car, we complete 52 separate inspections, calibrations, replacements, adjustments, checks, and installations, and each one is done precisely. So now you have 52 very good reasons to demand the precision of a Precision Tune tune-up, fully guaranteed to make your car hum a Precision Tune.
$39.90 complete, fully guaranteed. There's a Precision Tune near you. Laverne and Shirley, weekdays at 4.
You're being charged with a criminal offense of indecency with a child. It is a second-degree felony offense, and if you're convicted of it, you could conceivably be sentenced to the Texas Department of Corrections at Huntsville for a term of anywhere from 2 to 20 years and or fined up to a maximum of $10,000.
It just can't be happening. I never, ever thought I would be arrested for anything, much less something I would never think of doing.
We were eating, and it come over the news, and he dropped his fork, and he said, "Mom, we lost our savings."
When Commonwealth failed, its depositors lost something like $67 million.
You know, they sent us a letter and asked us to come to a meeting at the police department. They wanted us to come up there so that a psychologist could make us happy living without our money. I said, God, man, I don't want to learn to live without my money. I want my money.
U.S. officials are losing their patience with Papandreou, accusing him of saying one thing, doing another, and trying to have it both ways. Some U.S. officials are mumbling that maybe, just maybe, the U.S. should pull its bases out of Greece.
I want a Mediterranean without the Soviet fleet, without the American fleet. I don't want American bases. I don't want Soviet bases. I want to be left alone.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Harry Reasoner.
I'm Ed Bradley.
I'm Diane Sawyer. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes.
When it comes to performance, it is hard to tell the Mercedes-Benz 300D sedan from the 300TD station wagon, or to tell the station wagon from the 300CD coupe. All offer the same vivid turbo diesel power, making these the most powerful line of diesels sold in America. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world.
Data General asks, are you buying yesterday's technology? Data General, computer systems so advanced, we win more major contracts than any other company. Data General.
Most of what we hear and read about child abuse probably happened, but how much of it is made up by a bitter ex-wife or a jealous ex-husband, or by a neighbor trying to cause trouble, or by one lurid news story feeding on another? If the big red A Hester Prynne wore in Nathaniel Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter stood for adultery, today the Scarlet A stands for abuser, and one of the tragedies is that it's being worn by some who are guilty or not. Tonight, Mike Wallace reports on the consequences of the new child abuse hysteria, one person's odyssey that began in the office of Texas Magistrate Cleve Moten.
You're being charged with a criminal offense of indecency with a child. It is a second-degree felony offense, and if you're convicted of it, you could conceivably be sentenced to the Texas Department of Corrections at Huntsville for a term of anywhere from 2 to 20 years and or fined up to a maximum of $10,000.
Despite the fact that it was only a recreation, the memory of that night came rushing back to Aaron Tobin.
Aaron, what was going through your head? I mean, I'm sure that there was panic going through your head, but what else was going through your head as he read you those rights that night?
It was like, it just can't be happening. It's gotta be. It just can't be. And all I kept thinking about was my future and how this was going to be on my record. I never, ever thought I would be arrested for anything, much less something I would never think of doing.
Until her arrest for child abuse, Erin Tobin had been the proverbial girl next door in the small Colorado town where she actually grew up next door to the Catholic church she attends faithfully. Choir member, cheerleader, Girl Scout. Erin Tobin had come to Texas to study journalism at the university in Austin. What happened the night that she was arrested by the Austin police? We asked Erin Tobin to reenact it.
I was making granola bars to take to my final the next morning. I had a knock on the door, and I said, come on in, you know, what can I do for you? And they said, do you babysit very often? And I said, not real often. I have some friends that I babysit for. Well, they have accused you of indecency with a child. They've accused you of somehow, you know, having sexual contact with their children. First, they brought me here, and they took me down and took my billfold and counted the money out and that kind of thing, and they typed up the charges, and then I came in here.
I remember a young lady brought into my office who was very much in tears. At the time, I had no way of determining whether she was guilty or innocent of the charge, but I felt that the way she appeared indicated a very strong possibility that there had been a mistake here.
But the system was already underway.
Oh, yes.
Nothing you could do to stop.
No. No, once the charges are filed, they're filed.
The lady at the cell said, after she had fingerprinted me and taken my pictures, I knew from watching TV that the next thing was to go in the cell. And I just heard people yelling and screaming, and I looked down that hall. And she said, don't worry, honey, I'm not going to put you in there.
Charged with an ugly felony, Tobin needed help fast. Through a friend, she found attorney Terrell Smith, who was also a member of the Texas legislature.
We escorted her out of there, filled out the papers for her bond, and she was taken back to jail and sat on a bench outside while I went in and talked to the judge about securing her release on bail.
Then Erin had to call her father, Dean Tobin, to ask for $2,000 to pay her attorney and to tell her dad what had happened.
It was probably the hardest phone call I've ever made in my life.
She was really hard to talk to because she was projecting what was going to happen the rest of her life, basically. I'm going to be ruined. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go to jail.
And I remember when he asked me, did you do it? It hurt my feelings so bad that he could think I did it.
Did you think that possibly there could be any truth?
Yes, sure, I questioned it. We talked, and then finally I asked her, well, did you do this? And she said no. And then later in the conversation, I remember she said, I guess if changing diapers and cleaning up kids is molesting children, I guess I did.
Erin Tobin had babysat for these 3-year-old twins, disguised to protect their identity, off and on since they were infants. The twins' mother apparently noticed some changes in the children's behavior and began to suspect they had been sexually molested. Their doctor and a psychologist seemed to agree. Then they went to the authorities. Erin Tobin became the only suspect. The parents, the people at the daycare center who took care of the twins were never investigated, and none of them, incidentally, would talk to 60 Minutes. The primary evidence against Erin Tobin was a videotaped interview of the little girl made in this room by an Austin Police Department social worker with the aid of anatomically correct dolls. The incriminating words, according to the police department, Erin pinched my vagina. Erin Tobin was not permitted to see the videotape, neither were we. But Major John Doyle did see the tape and was persuaded by it. He heads the Austin Police Department's Criminal Investigation Bureau. You say, Major Doyle, that the Austin Police Department relied heavily on the videotape. We have not been permitted to see that tape. You have. Using those dolls,
that are over there on your desk. Could you explain what happened on that videotape for us?
The doll that was used on the tape was the female doll. The counselor said to the child, "This doll is you. Now let's play like you are this doll. Would you show us what happened? Show me what happened." And the child is somewhat reluctant. The child says several times, "It hurts to talk about it."
Eventually, the little girl was persuaded to undress the doll.
And the counselor says, "Now show me what happened. What did this suspect do to you?" And the girl indicated that she had been fondled and tickled in this area, in the pelvic area, and in her breast area.
Major Doyle saw that videotape and is persuaded that Aaron Tobin's guilty. You, Charles Smith, saw that videotape and are persuaded that Aaron Tobin is innocent.
That's right. You look at that video and there is no actual accusation. It's 25 and 30 minutes into the tape. I remember at one time the girl said, "Well, did Aaron ever pinch you anywhere?" And the girl went, "Here, here, here, here." She just pinched all over the doll. And then at some other point, I think in there, they said, "Well, did Aaron ever pinch you here?" And she says, "Yeah, Aaron pinched me there," and just kind of put her hand down. Now, that's the whole case.
The investigation lasted how long? The Austin Police Department's investigation? Just a matter of days. Not very long.
Nobody from the police department ever talked to you
No,
prior to the time that you were picked up at your home?
no, no one ever.
And what
I was
happened?
not approached.
Here's Aaron Tobin, in her early 20s, student at the university. No prior record. One incident. The testimony on videotape of 2 3-year-olds. And suddenly at 7 o'clock at night, booked. It seems a little abrupt.
Well, you see it one way and we see it another. Understand that we had what we considered and still considered a great deal of evidence that this individual, the suspect, had sexually abused the children. The warrant had been issued and we made the arrest.
Accused of a crime she could not disprove, Aaron Tobin tried to fight back with another piece of modern technology, the lie detector test.
It would prove that to them that I wasn't lying and that I didn't do anything. And that was obviously the only way I had of trying to prove such a thing.
Aaron, you're not going to feel any of this that I'm putting on you right now during the test. It's just going to be a little intimidating.
Suzanne Wheeler administered the test, and she agreed to recreate it for us.
What were the actual questions that you asked Aaron on the polygraph?
Have you ever touched the child on her privates with any sexual intent? Have you ever touched the child anywhere on their body with any sexual intent?
And your answer to all of those?
Or no?
And as far as you were concerned?
I think that Aaron's telling the truth.
Nonetheless, the police department continued to press the case and referred it to District Attorney Ronald Earl for prosecution.
It's my understanding that you told the parents involved here that they had a rather flimsy case. A weak case. But they wanted it taken to the grand jury. True or false?
My assistant had that conversation.
Why couldn't you simply say, not enough evidence, no case, without going to a grand jury?
There was just too much evidence just to say, dismissed and forget about it. It needed to have the attention of a grand jury.
The grand jury considered the case for about half an hour, and they found not enough evidence to indict Aaron Tobin.
12 good and true citizens of Austin, having heard all the same things that you heard, and more, no doubt, refused to indict Aaron Tobin.
Mike, I really do not know what evidence the grand jury heard. I cannot speculate on why they did not return an indictment. Grand jurors may hear anywhere from 6 to 15 cases in one afternoon.
Therefore?
Therefore, they don't conduct, on many, many cases, in most cases, a thorough investigation.
I see. And you believe that she went free, Aaron Tobin did, that the grand jury was wrong?
I am not saying that the grand jury is wrong. Mr. Wallace, there are 3 people who know whether or not this suspect is guilty. She knows, and the children know. I don't know. You don't know.
The grand jury does not know. Child abuse does not occur in public. I suppose the fact is that you do have a record. Here.
Yes. I do.
Tobin has had to work her way through college. What effect will that record have on her career?
One of the first things I thought about was how it would be on when I would filled out a job application and they asked if you'd ever been arrested or if you'd ever been arrested on a felony and if you've ever been convicted. I thought, you know, from now on, I can't answer that.
Well, you'll have to.
I mean, but I can't answer that saying no. I'm going to have to tell somebody, and just to have to bring that up all the rest of my life.
Have you talked to the parents?
No.
Do you want to talk to them? Do you want to find out?
The first night, I really wanted to call them and just say, how could you possibly think I could do that to your kids? You know I love your kids, and I always have, and I wouldn't think of doing anything to them.
Have you babysat at all since this happened?
No. I have no intention of probably ever babysitting for anyone. It would be, except maybe family, but it would be a long time before I would babysit for someone again.
Simply because?
Because it's made me afraid of kids.
I've always been very close to a granddaughter. She's 4 years old. And when I put my arm around her, I touched her leg down in this area. And here comes this shield saying, you know, don't do that, don't do that. Like there was something wrong with it. And it's the fear, I guess, in this country of some kook somewhere is going to see me touch this child and press charges against me or something. I don't know.
Are we in the media responsible for all of the attention and all of the lurid details of this kind of thing coming out now?
To some extent you are. There's no question that national magazines, national TV, local TV, this is the crime that is being discussed this year. 10 years ago, a case might come through, no public attention at all. They might get the family together and handle it some other way. I don't think they feel they have that ability to do that anymore because of the public attention. So yes, you are.
Has this done any damage to your self-esteem? Truly?
I think at first, especially, I felt like I was a criminal. I mean, I had a record. Even though I didn't do anything, I still had a record. And as far as anyone looking at that record could tell, they didn't know whether I was guilty or innocent. There would always be that doubt.
What recourse does Erin Tobin now have? Although they have been given little encouragement, she and her father would like to file suit against the parents and the Austin Police Department.
I hate to wait.
He hates to wait.
Well, you have to wait. So sorry.
Avis knows how frustrating it is to wait for your rental car. That's why we invented the Wizard number, so you can go right from your plane to the Avis bus. I hate to wait. We'll get you on your way and into your car fast. We know you hate to wait, so from reservation to return. I hate to wait.
He hates to wait.
We're trying harder, faster. I hate to wait.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You're not just another face along the way to another place.
Sorry, can't use them.
Maybe next year.
Don't need them. Great lunch.
You're the pride of United's friendly skies.
Dinner?
Oh, not just now.
Rough day, huh?
Twice that.
Hey, tomorrow's another day.
We should have been here yesterday.
No, they're all right for us.
Got so many ways to fly ya.
Well, maybe I can do something about it.
Standing by ya.
Can you help out a dead battery in 18B?
Sure. Got nothing to add up anyway. Tough trip, huh? What business you at?
You're not just flying. You're flying the friendly skies.
Are you sure you can get 350 million of them to me by the 1st?
You're not just
How was the trip?
Not bad.
You're flying the friendly skies.
Tonight, a congressman's mysterious death brings Jessica to the halls of power.
Somebody moved his body.
But she soon discovers that murder, corruption, and blackmail are the first order of business. Herschel Bernardi guest stars with Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote. Then Jack Warden's a freewheeling private eye. John Rubenstein's his son, a button-down attorney.
Heck of a lawyer.
Together, they solve mysteries.
Like father, like son.
Case in point, what's the connection between a piece of old movie film and a dead man's cigar box?
Maybe a murder.
Crazy Like a Fox, tonight.
Two of the scariest words in the English language are bank failure. 119 have failed in the last 2 years, more than at any time since the Depression. Another 800 are listed as problem banks. The banks that failed were members of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, so the government will make good most of the losses. But a dozen other banks, state-chartered banks, failed, and they were not members of the FDIC. They may not have been banks under a strict definition of the word, but they were banks to the people who had money in them. What happens when one of them fails? This is the story of the collapse of the Commonwealth Savings Company in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I remember so plain the night that came over the news.
Keith and Ruth Markle had most of their life savings in the Commonwealth Savings Company in Lincoln. When Commonwealth closed its doors in 1983, they lost it all. 2 months later, Keith Markle was dead. Ruth Markle is convinced the loss of the money killed him.
We were eating, and it come over the news, and he dropped his fork, and he said, "Mom, we lost our savings." And he got as white as a sheet. He hadn't smoked before then on account of his emphysema, and he started smoking again. And then he couldn't sleep at night. He'd walk the floor, and he'd say, "Oh, why did we do this? Why didn't we leave our money?"
The Markles were typical of Commonwealth's depositors. 7,400 people lost $67 million. 70% of them were retired men and women. They were the kind of people held up to the rest of us as good examples. People who saved their money so they wouldn't be a burden to their children or to the government when they got old. Reuben and Lillian Worcester lost about $123,000, money that was earmarked to care for a 24-year-old son.
He's retarded, and I'm taking care of him.
He lives with you.
That's right.
Were you counting on that money to make things a little easier for him? Or
Yes, we were. We was putting this money aside, so if anything would happen to my husband and myself, that he would be taken care of.
George and Frances Osborne lost $122,000 in the Commonwealth collapse.
You know, they sent us a letter and asked us to come to a meeting at the police department. They wanted us to come up there so that a psychologist could make us happy living without our money. I said, "God, man, I don't want to learn to live without my money. I want my money."
No one was laughing when Commonwealth failed on November 1st, 1983. A panic started when a newspaper reported Commonwealth was in trouble. Before opening time, dozens of depositors were lined up in a freezing rain, hoping for a chance to withdraw their money. That's called a run on the bank. And no bank can survive a run because most of its cash is out in the form of loans. So the Nebraska Banking Department closed Commonwealth that morning. It even changed the locks so the bank's officers couldn't get in until an audit was completed. If Commonwealth had been solvent, that is, if it could have called in enough of its loans to cover its deposits, it would have been able to reopen and no one would have lost anything. But Commonwealth was not solvent. Sumner E. Koppel, the founder, owner, and president, refused us an interview. But at a legislative hearing, he blamed the recession for his troubles.
And as to what caused Commonwealth's failure, I think two things. One was the economy and owning too much real estate and the interest rate. The real problem was the borrower didn't pay his note. If every borrower would pay his note, you'd never have a failure.
But bank executive Neil West, who was sent in by the state to look over Commonwealth's books, says the problem wasn't the economy, it was mismanagement and theft.
What I really found was a company that had been allowed to run completely amok. There was no information on any of the borrowers. There was no way to tell whether a borrower had the ability to repay any of the loans that were made. I found $47 million of loans that the company had reported to be earning assets. I determined that roughly 41 of those 47 million of loans were uncollectible from the borrowers. I found false entries on the books of Commonwealth. By best estimates, I think that roughly $10 million was actually stolen from the company.
Stolen in what way?
Money extracted by insiders through bogus loan transactions, by setting up what they called real estate contracts, which were really just ruses designed to extract money from the company and set up an asset on the books that was basically a worthless asset.
Well, something like this doesn't happen all at once, in a month or so. It must have taken years to develop. Why didn't anybody notice?
Well, I think that what I witnessed down there was a total breakdown of the state banking department and its role as a regulator.
If Commonwealth had been a member of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, as this bank is, its depositors would not have had to worry no matter why the bank failed. Any bank can become a member of the FDIC if it has enough capital, experienced management, and is willing to submit to federal regulation. Deposits in member banks are insured by the government up to $100,000. Deposits in savings and loan companies are also insured through the Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation. Commonwealth wasn't a member of any federal insurance program. The reason lies in the definition of the word bank. Commonwealth Savings Company looked like a bank. It accepted deposits like a bank. It made loans like a bank. But technically, it was not a bank. Under Nebraska law, Commonwealth was an industrial loan and investment company. These companies have a great deal more latitude than regular banks in the kind of investments they make. Like most Nebraska industrials, Commonwealth was heavily into real estate development. Because its investments were more speculative than a regular bank's, it was authorized to pay higher interest rates than they could. Our first thought was, okay, Commonwealth's depositors gave up the security of the FDIC to earn a little more interest. They knew they were taking a chance. What are they complaining about? But we learned those depositors didn't think they were taking a chance. They thought their money was perfectly safe. Why? Because Commonwealth was a member of the Nebraska Depository Institutions Guarantee Corporation. The NDIGC was set up under state law as sort of Nebraska's own little version of the FDIC. It was supervised by the Nebraska Banking Department. It was supposed to provide insurance for industrial savings companies like Commonwealth so they could compete with FDIC-insured banks. Commonwealth and the other industrials contributed to a fund, and NDIGC used that fund to guarantee individual accounts up to $30,000, family accounts to $420,000. But NDIGC was underfunded. When Commonwealth failed, its depositors lost something like $67 million. There was only $1.5 million in NDIGC's entire fund. Even so, depositors didn't worry. Nebraska will pay us back, they told themselves, because the NDIGC is a state agency. They were shocked to find out it wasn't a state agency. Senator Vard Johnson, chairman of a legislative committee set up to investigate the Commonwealth collapse, says the legislature went to great pains to make sure the state would not be held responsible for the NDIGC.
The law was simply an enabling act. It enabled any institutions who desired to form a private corporation to, in effect, provide a guarantee for deposits in member corporations. It gave them the authorizing legislation to form that private corporation. But the law then went on to say that in no way, shape, or form was the credit of the state to be behind the corporation that was then formed, nor was any public official of the state to be liable for any kind of wrongdoing on the part of this private corporation.
But Governor Bob Kerrey feels the state is responsible because the law required Commonwealth to misinform its customers.
The statute required those institutions to advertise. Didn't say they could, required that they advertise. The logo, the representation, the advertising was all designed to appear to provide the same kind of insurance that we have with the S&Ls and the same kind of insurance that we have with the regular banks. My objective is to try to, first of all, dispose of the assets and get some money back to the depositors, and secondly, try to convince the people that we owe these people something more than just the 5 or 10 cents on the dollar that we're likely to get if we sell the assets.
But Kerry needs support from the legislature, and the Commonwealth failure has become a political football. Senator Johnson says voters outside of Lincoln don't think Commonwealth's depositors deserve help.
We have a lot of senators who come from rural Nebraska, and their constituents are farmers, and the farmers put their grain in a publicly regulated grain elevator. And the grain is then pledged to some financing concern, and the elevator goes broke, and the farmer doesn't get paid. So those senators say, well, if the farmer isn't going to get paid for the defalcations of the private grain elevator, then so too the depositor at Commonwealth ought not to be paid by the state for the defalcations of the Commonwealth people and also for the underinsurance at the NDIGC.
The people need to get the story a little bit better, and we just have to keep pressing them. I think it's starting to turn, and once that does turn, then I think the legislators themselves will come along as well. I think the people want government to do the right thing, and the right thing is to try to get some additional money to those depositors.
Commonwealth was the biggest industrial bank in Nebraska. Its closing and the news that the NDIGC was broke started a run on all of the state's 40-odd industrials. The second biggest, State Security Savings, filed for bankruptcy. Most of the others have submitted to federal regulation and joined the FDIC. The 87-year-old Koppel was one of Lincoln's leading citizens until Commonwealth closed. He and his bank owned almost half of Lincoln's undeveloped land, and he was acknowledged to be the city's leading home developer. Now Koppel is broke and facing a prison term. He has pleaded guilty to a charge of illegal bookkeeping and is appealing a 12 to 16-month sentence. He says he lost $17 million when Commonwealth failed, and all he and his wife have left is their Social Security. His son Marvin, vice president of Commonwealth, has been indicted for theft in connection with an illegal commission he received. Nebraska's Attorney General, Paul Douglas, was impeached by the legislature. After it was disclosed, he received $44,000 from Commonwealth in a shady land deal. He was found not guilty by one vote when the impeachment was tried before the Nebraska Supreme Court. He has since been convicted in court on 3 counts of perjury. But the depositors don't want scapegoats. They want their money. Last November, on the anniversary of Commonwealth's closing, more than 1,000 of them turned out to pick up the state capitol in Lincoln. On a day when the wind chill factor was 6 below zero, they marched around the capitol for hours.
We're not giving up on the deal. We've got to have our money.
We put faith in the state of Nebraska, trusted the state of Nebraska, and now you can't trust nobody in it. And I think it's the biggest ripoff this country's ever had.
And we want our money back, and we will never give up until they pay us all back.
Reuben Worster spends most of his time now gathering information and trying to keep other depositors from losing hope. But there was a time when he lost hope himself.
I anticipated suicide, but I finally gathered my wits about me and said, well, the state of Nebraska are compassionate people. Whenever somebody's having trouble, they'll weigh the facts, and then they'll come through.
I guess I've wanted to go to Alaska ever since I was an 8-year-old boy, listening to my father talk about it.
Alaska is a story that my father told of swift rivers running with salmon and gold.
I took a vacation to Alaska last year, and I discovered an interesting thing. That 8-year-old boy is still alive.
Alaska. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way.
We
shaped the Mercury Cougar to help the car hug the highway. It's a shape you'll always feel good in, just like that old leather jacket. Cougar from Mercury.
60 Minutes, a CBS News weekly magazine, will continue.
CBS is about to open your eyes to a new kind of morning television. Television that's more in touch with your new interests and priorities. It all starts when Phyllis George joins Bill Curtis on the new CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
On the first day after Christmas, my true love gave to me leftover turkey. On the second day after Christmas, my true love gave to me turkey casserole that she made from leftover turkey. On the third
If the holidays are lingering longer than you expected, we have a suggestion. A pan pizza from Pizza Hut with pepperoni, mushrooms, almost any topping except one.
Flaming turkey wings. Ba-la-la-la, ba-la-la-la.
Join me, Sylvia Newsom, on News Center 7.
Just mention the name Andreas Papandreou in Washington and temperatures start to rise. The Prime Minister of Greece, they say, is making a career out of biting the hand that feeds him. Papandreou accepts $500 million a year in U.S. assistance to Greece, but he denounces American foreign policy. He threatens to throw U.S. military bases out of Greece and pull his country out of NATO. Indeed, he regularly takes the Soviet side, even excusing the Russians for shooting down the Korean passenger plane. What makes all this particularly infuriating to American officials is that Papandreou was once an American citizen himself. He's married to an American. In Washington, they find it hard to believe that this product, if you will, of the American dream has turned on the United States. In Washington, they call Papandreou slippery, unprincipled, confusing.
Well, I believe, actually, that in foreign policy, one should give confusing signals. This is the best policy for a small nation. It's good strategy.
Why?
Because it serves the interests of this country. If they know you exactly, they know every step and every move, then they don't take account of you anymore.
Is Andreas Papandreou really just trying to get attention when he attacks the United States? Or is he, as some people fear, a truly unreliable link in a strategically important chain? The chain of Western military bases and alliances in Europe. Why does he say these things? Is it political opportunism? After all, he's a socialist, and in Greece that means bending over backwards not to offend the Communist Party. Papandreou wants the communists on his side in the next election. Or does Papandreou really believe what he says, that capitalistic greed makes the Americans imperialists, while the Soviet economy predisposes Russia to peace? Even one-on-one on the subject of Russia, he's a very hard man to pin down.
In the Soviet Union, you have a bureaucratic and a conservative structure. Believe it or not, the Soviet Union is a conservative country. Forget the words, Marxism, Leninism, revolution. It is a conservative country with very, very well-structured bureaucracy. It is not a country that has a dynamic in the social system, an outward dynamic. It does not.
But why hasn't that made them a less adventuristic country then?
Well, what is the adventurism, really? I mean, seriously.
I'm talking about Soviet adventurism, the U.S. would say, in Afghanistan, in Yemen, in Ethiopia, in financing the Cubans as proxies in Africa and Central America.
I can have a very long list for you for America, if you wish.
But what about the Soviets?
They haven't invaded anything but Afghanistan, invaded themselves. What else?
Yemen, Central America.
Central America, what?
They're financing
Castro.
Cubans.
Look, Castro was a friend of the United States when he became head of Cuba. You remember the story.
But we're talking about the Soviet
right.
Union's motives and intentions.
I don't deny at all, and I have no reason to deny, that it intervenes in a variety of ways, through its parties, the communist parties in various parts of the world, through proxies, as in the case of Cuba. I have never okayed or lauded these policies, but I think there is a fundamental difference which you must see, and it is this. We belong to the Western camp. NATO, common market, American bases. Therefore, our first and major responsibility is to put our own house in order. But let me put it this way. First of all, there is almost a biblical opposition, fanatic opposition to the style of life, the style of government of the West. It is the devil. Of the East, it is the devil. I mean, if you hear the reactions of the administration, communism everywhere. The danger is communism.
Would Greece be a free country today if the U.S. after World War II had not been afraid of the expansionism of communism?
I can't answer that question. We would have been in the Soviet bloc, I believe. Not certainly.
Are you grateful to the U.S.?
I'm grateful to no one about anything, and everybody does what he wants to do.
Are you grateful
I'm
that...
grateful only to the Greek people.
Are you grateful that Greece is not part of the Soviet bloc?
I would put it this way to you. Yes, I don't want to be in the Soviet bloc, very clearly.
But there was a time when Papandreou was grateful to the United States, when he came to America to escape the military dictatorship in Greece. His father, a prominent politician, stayed in Greece and fought for democracy, and also became prime minister. But Papandreou, the son, thought he would make America his home. He became a U.S. citizen, joined the Navy, taught economics at Harvard and Berkeley, and campaigned for Adlai Stevenson. He became a prominent economist after a somewhat shaky economic start. But you came to the United States with $14 in your pocket?
Yes, I had 20 when I started.
Oh, 20? Oh, that's very different.
And I spent $6 on Coca-Cola during the trip. The first thing I did in the morning is to get a haircut. And the barber asked me whether I wanted also to have a shampoo and so forth. I said, why not? That came to $4. I took everything the shop could offer. And then I was up against it. And I asked for a job in the International House, New York. And they made me librarian for certain hours, which took care of the immediate needs, you know, room and board, as we say it.
You were an American success story. You came with $14, $4 of which went to the barber.
Yeah.
And you ended up with a Harvard PhD.
Yes.
And teaching at universities all across the country.
This is so, and I must say that probably there are very few countries in the world where a foreigner has a chance to have a success story of this type.
But as an ancient Greek, Aristotle put it once, man is by nature a political animal. And in 1959, Papandreou returned home. His father urged him into politics. So did his outspoken American wife. And I look at the photos in here. Margaret Papandreou was born in Elmhurst, Illinois. The Papandreou children were born in America, too. And did you think... And yet, she has become a highly visible critic of the place she once called home. She's also an active feminist and one of her husband's key advisors. In your wildest imagination, could you ever have envisaged that you would be the wife of the Prime Minister of Greece?
Well, I've been asked that question before. And I say, no, I didn't dream that I would be the wife of the Prime Minister of Greece. I dreamt that I would be the Prime Minister of Greece.
But you took part in demonstrations that walked past the American embassy with everyone shouting America out. Do you shout that?
I take part as the president of the Women's Union of Greece.
And you shout America out?
I haven't shouted America out. But I do, some of the other slogans that we use, I do shout. It isn't, when they say America out, again, you have to understand this. It doesn't mean get out America in the sense that every American who happens to be here should be out. It means, it's a symbolic statement. Let us determine how we want to run our country.
But what do the Greek people think when the Papandreous criticize America? Well, a lot of them share that suspicion of the United States. They resent the way a big country tells a small one what to do. And they fear the superpowers will start a nuclear war in Europe. They are angry that the U.S. supports Greece's arch-enemy Turkey, and what's more, a lot of them, including the Papandreous, blame the CIA for the military coup in Greece in 1967. The army toppled the government of Papandreou's father and put father and son in jail. Are you anti-American?
No, quite on the contrary.
Has your political stance been anti-American?
I am in disagreement with the foreign policy of the Reagan administration, that's clear. This I'm prepared to accept, but that I am anti-American,